hug yourself and hug your friends because we have made it to Friday. Yes, it is Fan Friday here on SJU. Definitely ask your friends their permission to hug them first, though. It is still 2019. Now, let's talk about all the amazing SJU things that we have on the plate for today. Yes, we're going to talk about these studios that might be losing their big name properties back to the original creators or owners. And we're also going to talk about Mark Hamill because why not? There's been a lot of Joker talk recently, and we absolutely love him. And of course, as I said, it is Fan Friday, so that's right. Spenny and I will do our medley as we get to our Fan Friday. Fan Friday. Yeah, Emma, you can harmonize with us next time.
Sounds great.
Speaking of Emma, that is, of course, Emma Fyffe in the house.
Hello. Great to be here on this fabulous fantastic Friday.
Solid. Yep, it is still the morning.
Just gonna keep that alliteration going.
Do you guys think that people on the East Coast think that we're just really slow around like 2 p.m. for them? Like, what is going on? Spenny G in the house.
Hey, Rox. Never more comfortable than when you're driving.
Oh, wow. That is the most massive mistake that you have made this morning, maybe all month. But let's get right into it. Studios may lose some big name properties. So this is multiple different studios that are possibly losing their properties, starting with Gail Ann Hurd, who co-wrote and produced the original Terminator, and that has moved to terminate the copyright grant that was made 35 years ago. That's via Hollywood Reporter, or as Joe Starr likes to say, to her, which is now what I officially call it across the board, and everybody looks at me like I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Then we also have other people that are doing the same kind of thing. We've got Who Framed Roger Rabbit on the table today, guys, because that possibly Disney might be losing their rights to that. Beetlejuice might be losing their rights via Warner Brothers. Paramount, already we saw what they did with Pet Sematary, rushing it through. So there's all different players right now that we're talking about. Are there any one of these that stand out to you as the one that you're very nervous about losing their rights, or are you excited to possibly get these back to their creators?
I'm just more with the Who Framed Roger Rabbit thing. There's this little bit of confusion for me, I think, because so many of the characters in Who Framed Roger Rabbit are copyright of Disney or copyright of Warner Brothers.
Right.
I guess it's a book that
it is a book. It's based on a book.
I've never read.
Solid point, Spenny.
But
me neither.
But still, to me, I'm like, well, who has the right to own the rights to that seems so confusing to me in the first place, because it's like, again, they're using all of these licensed characters, so you end up in a weird licensing kind of thing there. I mean, you look at something also like a really prominent example of this that's been going on for a long time is Friday the 13th, which originally Paramount had the rights to it, and then New Line had them, so Warner Brothers owns them, and there's this whole back and forth with what the future of that franchise is going to be, because nobody can kind of settle on where the rights to it land. And it was interesting, being somebody that works at Universal Studios and doing Halloween Horror Nights, we had this huge presence of Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street for so long, and now because of the whole New Line thing, they've just kind of been gone for the past couple of years. Warner did something with them last year, but now it's this weird limbo of who
has it and who doesn't. Spenny, how do you feel? Are you nervous about some of these rights? Are you excited?
I mean, I think you don't know what the consequences are going to be. I mean, I'm just in general on board with creators owning their creations because they came up with it, and I know they sold it and exchanged goods and services, but why not? Because the problem in my head is some of these people might be kind of hard up for money and be just as desperate to sell it off and do pump out crap sequels and license the name all over town as a giant conglomerate is. So I don't know what the creative end result is going to be, but
you bring up a really good point, Spencer, because the basic idea of the person who created it wants to terminate the copyright and basically terminate their contracts and get the copyright back for themselves so they can continue to expand upon it isn't necessarily going to result in great art, for lack of a better explanation.
I always think about Sylvester Stallone not having ownership over Rocky anymore and what that means. Alan Moore, who's wanted to be a part of Watchmen forever, not being able to do his creation either. And you do, as creators, I think, Spenny, I'm with you. I feel for the creator, even though they did what they had to do in order to make the product, and now we wouldn't have seen it if they hadn't sold the rights in the first place. But I do always think that a creation is best with its mom or dad, and because that's who cares about it the most.
But if mom and dad broke up and dad went to Reno and it's been 35 years and he's kind of penniless and he's got a habit, he's got a feed and like he's like, I see there's selling Terminator stuff all over town. Give me a piece of that.
So I feel like too,
it's not going to make it up, Dad.
Whose dad is that, Spenny?
I feel like this is very much a direct result of sort of the trend we're seeing in terms of like creating properties based off of existing properties, is that suddenly people want the rights back to their stuff because they see these big studios just constantly remaking the same movie and you know, literally remaking or making countless sequels to. And so as a creator, you can't help but be like, man, maybe I can do that on my own and make just as much money, you know?
Yeah,
they're not buying these to like not do anything with them or to protect the legacy of their creations.
Spenny, that happened to me with my favorite fast food restaurant in Los Angeles.
What's that?
There was a restaurant called Shop House, and
it was gross though. That place.
Okay,
was
I literally can't even look at you anymore, Spencer.
What an easy, obvious, no-fail thing that they managed to screw up. It's Asian Chipotle. Who wouldn't want Asian? How can you make that disgusting?
Excuse me? I haven't even told you the worst part of the story yet. I ate
everything there was cold.
Emma, help.
I've never been. I have no horse in this race.
How can you screw up Asian Chipotle?
Listen to me. Shop House was a restaurant in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
There was 4 locations, and it was made by the owners of Chipotle.
Yeah.
Panda Express came in and saw them as a threat and bought them and closed them. They didn't buy them to do anything with the rights. They bought them. I swear, I was going to get full circle.
Panda bought the rights to Shop House.
They bought it to shut it down, and I guarantee you, we will see things like this in the future, where when you're looking at something as competition.
Shop House? Are you saying Chop House? No, you're saying Shop House. Awful name.
I'm legitimately disturbed. I'm upset. I can't believe you would yuck my yum in this kind of way.
Only when we're talking about food, when there is a literal yuck and yum at stake here.
They had gluten-free meatballs that would have blown your mind.
I had the meatballs. That was the only decent thing of all the options.
I never experienced this. Where were they?
And you never will, Emma. That's the point.
And now I am honestly intrigued.
But I'm bringing it back full circle because I think that some of these media conglomerates will end up picking up rights to shut down franchises so that they can end up having the exclusive great franchise and not have these smaller projects
that are competing with them.
So that's what I really don't want to see. I don't want to see any of these bringing it back around to Shop House, guys. I don't want to see any more Shop Houses with their amazing goodness closed down. I just can't do it. Let's go back to the Terminator, though, and really break down this part of the story because, like I talked about, Gail Ann Hurd, who co-wrote and produced the Terminator. Now she has sold the rights per the records file with U.S. Copyright Office David Ellison's Skydance Media. He acquired the rights from his sister, Megan Ellison. So Gail Ann Hurd's thinking about now selling, but now David had those rights from his sister, Megan, who bought them for $20 million in 2011 at an auction. But the rights could be lost to Terminator now via Gail wanting to sell. A lot of names I know, guys, which is starting possibly in November of 2020, which seems like a long time from now, but it's really 1 year. It's just around the corner. Yeah. Do you guys think that this would put the Terminator franchise on hold for quite a bit? Because even if somebody does purchase the rights, it takes a long time to figure out what you're going to do.
Even if the writer, is to buy back the rights to their own creation, they're a writer, you know what I mean? Like they basically have to sell to another studio in order to get any kind of film or television project off the ground. Mm-hmm. So, or at least find an investor. So it would definitely put things on hold for a while.
Yeah, it's weird now how much is hanging on Dark Fate. Whether there's an appetite for more Terminator or it rejuvenates it or not, that could kind of influence, be the first domino that falls in all of this.
How many puns are we going to hear if Dark Fate was the Dark Fate of Terminator?
Dun, dun, dun,
I'm just really not looking.
I'm shocked that you could buy Terminator for $20 million, not 8 years ago. Like, can't you just slap? I know the movie sucked, but can't you just slap Terminator on, a buddy road trip comedy and make $20 million? Like.
Maybe
just having the name Terminator and a cameo by Arnold
seems worth $20 million.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess if you want,
just a bunch of direct to DVD like Terminator Euro Trip.
Go Going
Terminator
back.
graduating class.
Crossover.
Let's see how many of these you can name, Spenny, now that you've started. Yep, keep it up. Yep.
Terminator, 2 robots, 1 cup. Terminator.
That gets messy.
Look who's terminating now.
Oh,
Good.
who is terminating now?
Air Bud, Dark Fate. That's a Terminator spinoff.
Oh, that's like the Fast and the Furious.
with a
where we
robot
go.
dog?
That's Hobbs and
that's
Shaw.
what there's nothing in the rule book that says a robot dog can't kick field goals.
That's true.
So
I want to make you keep going, but we're going to move on to something that Emma was talking about before, Friday the 13th. They're in the middle of this lawsuit, which has gone on for quite a while.
Yeah.
What do you guys think in terms of these creators? At what point is it worth it to fight for your franchise still? And at what point is it worth it to just be like, I'm a creator, so I'm going to create something else because let them have it and I'm just going to do me?
I think a lot of what it boils down to is how good the deal was that they got with whoever bought the rights to their thing in the first place. So it's like, for example, if you sell the rights to your story or script, whatever, if you have some sort of like residuals kickback from that, then I think that you're probably like, you know what? Cool, I'm still making money
this
off that
gravy
thing.
train going,
But it's
yeah.
once that sort of runs out, and that's when I think you go, okay, again, it's that question though of, are these creators buying the rights back for the integrity to preserve the integrity of their property, or are they buying it back in hopes that they will be able to resell it and make more money, and they don't really care about the quality of said product?
So you're talking about those dads that went to Reno.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking that just like that's
it doesn't matter
right.
that you got me an electric scooter.
Spenny, what do you think? At what point do you feel like it is worth it for the creators to just say, let me figure something else out?
Yeah, it's tough because, you see something that might be so beloved, once you've relinquished control of it and feel regret and want it back, but maybe the reason it's grown is someone else's doing, not yours.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I really think you have to take this on a franchise by franchise basis. Like, Galen Hurd reacquiring Terminator is awesome. I mean, how's her relationship with James Cameron? Like, can they get the gang back together and like give us everything we loved about the original Terminator?
Mm-hmm. Some of these movies, I just want to see them do something. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Beetlejuice, like,
Do you?
Yeah.
I see another framing Roger Rabbit.
Yes. I don't understand why more movies aren't made in that vein. Like,
Sure.
I'd love to see something else in the style of Who
Yeah.
Framed Roger Rabbit.
which could be Who Framed Roger Rabbit again.
Yeah, and like there's something. Look, I think creators should be paid, and I hope they're getting paid in all the ways they're monetizing their creations. But there's also something to be like, all right, like I did Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Like now I'm gonna do Thursday the 14th. Whatever.
I love that.
Why
we
did
traveled
Thursday-
back in
yeah,
time.
why did it
It's
go
a
up?
mystery. Don't you want to see that movie to find out?
Up in a
how it
number, but
happened?
back in the day of the week, that would probably put it at 6 years later.
No,
Yes,
you're in the
Thursday.
upside down. The Gregorian calendar works in mysterious ways now.
To be perfectly honest, I think I've been living in the upside down for the last year and a half. So here I am. Guys, we want to know your thoughts. What are you thinking about all these? Which franchises are you concerned? Which studios are you concerned are going to lose their big name properties? Who are you excited about possibly?
Did you try
seeing?
Shophouse while it was open? Were you shocked that there was only one hot entree?
Spencer?
Cold Asian food.
Fellow Shophouse fans, please tweet at Roxy Striar.
It was hot and
One thing
ready.
was hot. Whatever. Well,
Are you a Chipotle fan?
Yeah.
So what happened?
I agree. What happened?
You went to Reno. You lost all of your inhibitions.
That was my dad.
You don't even know what to do. But let us know what you guys are thinking at home. Again, support for Shophouse. I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Wow, what an excellent bell hit that was. Also, guys, some really cool stuff going on. Power levels. Now, this is epic that Emma and I are both sitting here right now, so we can finally clear it up.
Yes, we can finally clear the air on this.
Emma, please for me say, this is power levels.
This is Power Levels.
That sounded
Wait,
very
yes.
like
I know.
it. This,
Yes.
I know.
this is Power Levels.
It really sounds so
Very similar. Very
Well,
similar.
I will tell you guys that I'm honored. It's been an honor and a privilege to be mistaken for Emma Fyffe, but it is in fact
It is
my
Roxy,
voice
not me.
for the series Power Levels. I went through all the comments on it, and everybody was like, "Emma, Emma, that you?" No, it is me, and it's an awesome series that Spencer has done the best job on the planet with.
Shucks.
You really do, and you have chopped together me so that I don't sound like a moron, which I really appreciate. Power Levels is now on Screen Junkie's channel, and this time we are talking about Batman, Batman, and Batman.
And
Amazing.
The animation on this is like out of this world.
It looks pretty good, right? And we got a bunch more coming just like it.
Yeah.
And we're holding ourselves to that high standard of Roxy's VO, the great animation, science, me.
Science, all of those things. So make sure you go check that out. I was really excited to see that already a ton of you guys have. But if you haven't, go over there and let us know what other people you want us to compare, or not just people, characters, all that stuff.
And in 6 to 12 months, we'll have animated it for you.
Yeah, these take a while. I think we recorded this one several months ago.
Animation takes a long time, y'all.
Yeah, for sure. But so super worth it. Also, Movie Fights is back. Watch out for it next Saturday. Ooh. But first, if you guys are in the New York area at New York Comic Con, Saturday night, this is the thing that we have been talking about for quite some time, the premiere of our Galaxy Quest documentary. Spenny, how dope is Galaxy Quest documentary?
Oh, man. It's so good.
Oh, man.
It's so good. I actually had no particular devotion to the film. I saw it. I enjoyed it.
Oh, man.
But this documentary is like, this may have been the most important film ever made. I think I need to go rewatch Galaxy Quest like 7 times.
It really is.
after this.
I mean, there's a lot of like case studies and things that point to Galaxy Quest as being one of those first films to really like expose in a really positive way like fan culture.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, and that's exactly what we do here. So definitely go check that out. Saturday, October 5th, 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. in room 1A10. So 1A10, that is Saturday, October 5th, this Saturday, 8:30 to 10:30. That's tomorrow, guys.
That's tomorrow.
It is.
That is tomorrow. Also, Spenny, I hear that they're debuting a never before seen Honest trailer.
That they are.
Can I tickle torture it out of you? What is it? Don't tell me. What is it? Don't tell me.
The clue is at the end of last week's Honest trailer commentary. So just go to the end of that, and I think you'll have a clue for what it could possibly.
Batman the movie?
Batman the movie.
Yeah, look at the end of the Honest
I
commentary.
thought he just said what it was.
Yeah.
No, we don't do
Ryan.
that. We're not saying that.
What?
But now that we did mention Batman, I lost the ability to speak for a second. We mentioned Batman. We now are going to talk about Joker, the animated Joker, that is, guys. The third in our series of psychological profiles of different iconic versions of the Joker is up at fandom.com, so make sure you guys check that out. They're doing an awesome job with that series. Clinical psychologist Dr. Drea Letamendi did an awesome analysis of the version of the Joker who, outside the comics, she had the most to examine in terms of screen time, which is the Joker from Batman the Animated Series, voiced by none other than Mark Hamill. You can check it out, that article. The link is in the description. But it's kind of time
It's like
to
Brad
just...
Pitt there.
I do
guess,
see
yeah,
shades of Brad Pitt.
He's aging very
I
great.
feel like,
Man.
don't we say Brad Pitt looks like him?
Yeah, we should
that's
say Brad
right.
Pitt looks
Yeah,
like him.
suck it, Brad Pitt. You don't get to be the person people compare people to. Ha ha ha. So Mark Hamill, this is good timing because we have a lot of Joker conversations going around, and some of the Joker conversations on the internet have been incredibly scary and strange. So it's nice to have a positive one that I think we can all agree about,
Yes.
which is Mark Hamill's Joker. Were you guys both Batman the Animated Series fans?
Oh, yes, big time. I actually was just rewatching some of Batman the Animated Series the other day.
For fun?
Yeah, for fun. Because your friend and mine, Hector Navarro, of course, has it all on Blu-ray. So
Shocked.
Nice.
yeah, we were watching some of it, and it's so good. I mean, obviously, we're talking about Mark Hamill as the Joker here, who's obviously spectacular. But one of the things that's just so cool about the series is how slow they allow it to be. Like, the animation frame rate on it is very deliberate. It's not jumpy. It hasn't had any of the sort of anime influence that later, like, Batman iterations have had. And it's so like film noir and this weird like psychological study, and Batman's just as much a detective as he is anything else. And it's just so well done.
This is a question that Spenny has asked many a times. Does it hold up, Emma, after going back?
Oh, it does.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I agree.
big time it
I
holds
super
up.
agree.
Oh, I mean, and it's one of those things that I think any piece of fiction that is really well executed, that is absolutely family friendly. You know what I mean? It's like I watched Batman the Animated Series as a kid, but it doesn't treat kids like they're morons. And as an adult, you're able to rewatch it and get something else out of it, I think, than you did when you watched as a kid.
Do you guys feel like it sometimes, because Mark Hamill had one of the most iconic roles of all time in the hat that Emma's wearing, do we think that if he didn't have that, this would be the thing he was known for?
I think that there are generations of kids that this is what they know him for. That, you know, think of him as, I would say that there is certainly a portion of the population that thinks of him just as much as being the Joker as they do Luke Skywalker.
That's true. He's done it for decades
so
now.
long.
And he came back on the CW series as Trickster, who is pretty similar to Joker, but live action, and that was really exciting. And in the crossover, there has been whispers about him doing some kind of Joker-esque something. Would that cause you guys to tune in for the crossover event if you found out that Mark Hamill was doing some sort of Joker something?
Yeah, I mean, just like, I literally felt an emotional gut reaction right now that was said absolutely yes.
See, I kind of went the opposite way.
Oh, really?
It's like, it's such a great voice.
Yeah.
It's a voice performance.
It is a voice performance.
The physicality, I don't know. I haven't seen that from Mark Hamill of a Joker type character.
What
but
if Who Framed Roger Rabbit did it?
Okay.
Just the Joker's animated.
Yeah.
All right, fine, but aren't they like putting Kevin Conroy in the bat suit now?
yes,
Like,
they are doing
this is getting
that.
ridiculous. Come on.
In a good way, Spenny. But then what would you want to see? Is there any scenario in which you would want to see Mark Hamill reprise the Joker? Do you want to see
animated.
Keep making cartoons. Keep making these animated films and maybe reboot the series on HBO Max Plus Elite or whatever. But yeah, he's incredible. He's got to be my favorite, if not second favorite Joker, because it's like he's the only one that's actually funny.
Yeah.
He's the only one that takes like the comedian part of Joker to a actual funny place. Like his reactions are so deadpan and manic to what's going on around him.
Agreed.
And like you kind of get the sense that of all the Jokers, he is kind of winging it. Like his plans go awry all the time, and just his response of like he's kind of like Bugs Bunny in a way, another animated character of like he's pranking Batman. He's just effing with Batman. Like that's what brings him the most joy, and he is experiencing joy in these episodes, which it's just a lot more fun to watch than some other versions.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is what is so great about the portrayal of the Joker in the animated series, which is, of course, very much thanks to Mark Hamill's performance, that you do have this great balance of this villain who's absolutely a villain, but he's fun to watch. He's scary, but it's like fun scary.
Yeah. So Mark Hamill, we love you, and we'll keep on watching when you are the Joker and voicing him, and go back and watch the animated series. Shout out to Mark Hamill. Let's talk about some fan questions, guys.
Right. There it is.
I don't know why in my mind this is or like do this dance along with it.
Okay.
But like why? Because fan questions, but that's like go fan question. Da, 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 da. I feel like maybe we should make a handshake we do. I'm not exactly sure why. PJ has a fan question for us though, and that question is, what's a movie you would like to see given a second shot? So this is a movie with a solid concept, cast, and or creative team that fell just short of being great due to either the writing, the acting, directing, any of those things. What would you change on the movie's second go-through? PJ's pick, Hancock.
Interesting, yeah. It's throwing me off to say just short of great, because there's so many movies that, you know, stepped on a rake and smashed into their face.
Yes.
I want to try again. Like Last Airbender springs to mind.
Yeah, totally. I was gonna say, like, I'm struggling right now because I feel like I have something that is the perfect example of it was such a good concept, but just very poor execution. And
What is that thing?
I'm struggling to come up with it right now.
I thought you were. I thought that was the build-up to.
No,
I have it.
I don't have it. I'm working on it. But I think everybody should revisit Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters because that's a real fun movie.
I feel like several of M. Night's movies this is
Yeah.
the case where it's just like,
What a great idea for a movie.
I thought of something. This is a very strange poll. Not a successful film at all, but I did go see it during Halloween last year with Dan and Mara. There was this movie called Hellfest, which was about... it was a horror movie that took place at like a Fright Fest, Halloween Horror Nights kind of situation where there was actually a murderer. They did not have enough fun with it. It was very boring kills. I'm sorry, I'm as somebody who's
boring kill.
No, I've worked a lot of Halloween. I've worked at Universal for 7 years, and I've worked Horror Nights every single year. So I have had the thought so many times in the park going,
I should kill somebody.
No, the opposite of, man, if somebody actually wanted to kill me right now, they absolutely could, because I would just be like, whatever. Like I was the Terror Tram supervisor one year when it was Walking Dead, and I was like, man, if there was an actual zombie apocalypse right now, I would die, because zombies come at me and I'm like, whatever.
we all know if you're going to kill somebody, you should do it on a cruise ship, guys. I've watched so many things on
Listen,
this.
Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan is really just Jason Takes a Boat Ride. So he
And not
mostly
too
just
shabby.
kills people on a boat.
Did you guys see the Goldfinch this year?
No.
I tried to read it, but man, that sucked.
Okay, well, the movie was like a legit the most woof movie I've seen in 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was just woof. But you have such an epic cast, and the book gives great source material. Sorry that you didn't like it, but there was a lot to it, and the movie just botched it. They were like, actually, we're going to tell it this way, and it was like, wait, but why? Why would you do that?
Why would you have this great... Just make the thing that already exists.
Just make that thing. So for me, I feel like if we could just keep the cast, start again from change script.
New adaptation.
Yeah, just do it over. Any other ones that we're thinking? No?
No.
Okay, moving on. Black Halo at 317. Thank you for your fan question. What is the best movie series to marathon? And yes, you would have to watch every movie in the series franchise. I know we all were thinking about killing off the third or final movie of any of these franchises, but no, you have to watch every movie. What is the best movie series to marathon? Spenny, thoughts?
I mean, I don't have time for
I know.
a whole series. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch the MCU start to finish.
Yeah.
Because this is like one sitting. Like, I'm assuming you're not
Yes.
leaving the room.
No, I think that you could do it in a weekend.
A weekend? Okay, like over the course of 2 days.
I mean, I just made
Listen.
that up, but we're making our own rules. It's a fan question.
There's been many a television network that's all about that Bond marathon.
Yeah.
I got to do that.
I think I would say Indiana Jones. That's a fun. It's only 3 parts. Well, it's
I'm
only
sorry, I
3
have some bad
parts.
news
It's
for you.
only 3 parts.
What did we say? You
have some
have
bad
to
news.
watch every
Okay,
movie.
take it back then. Back to the Future.
yeah.
Back to the Future.
But I've actually watched all 3 Back to the Futures fairly close to each other, and man, they're repetitive.
They are very
They really are
repetitive.
hitting
Yeah,
the
you're
exact
right.
same
That's
beats
why
in a
I
different
went
setting.
Indiana Jones first, because I was like, oh, these are at least a little more different from each other,
Yeah.
but still fun. But there is that 4th one.
I kind of want to watch like one story unfold. So like, if I really want to settle in, I'll do Harry Potter. Over a weekend. Is that 7 movies for the just the original?
It's
7 or maybe
8 movies.
Last one's
8
2,
movies.
so-
They broke
I'm not
up
counting
that last.
Fantastic Beasts.
No.
No, just the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll do
I don't know. I feel like you maybe have to count Fantastic Beasts because we're talking about every movie in a series or franchise.
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts is in
That's
that
unfortunate. Okay,
franchise.
fine.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, but then I don't know actually because I was saying mine is Star Wars because I love the prequels. So for me, that's a no-brainer.
Sure.
However, does
Yeah.
like Solo and all those Rogue One like.
I mean, those
Holiday
are
special?
all in the
No.
same.
Okay.
I don't know.
The holiday special.
I just don't know,
Both
though.
Ewok movies.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'll say for this question, yes.
Yes,
this
they
question-
count. But Ewok's not because it's not canon.
Yeah, you have to watch. Like,
Okay.
A lot of people are saying like the Dark Knight trilogy.
Dark
or something like that,
Knight.
But I would think if you're saying franchise, that would mean like
All
the
Batman.
Yeah.
But that's kind of fun
Well,
too.
yeah, because but then that also brings up the question with Harry Potter. Like, do you have to include the Fantastic Beasts films?
Bless you.
I'd say yes.
Ryan says
My
yes.
parameter to this question,
Okay.
All right, so we kind of answered. I'll let us off the hook and move on to this next question with Jacob Muser. I butcher names for a living. I'm sorry. What do you guys think?
It's a living.
Muser? Muser? No?
Yep.
What is Spencer's amazing Star Wars prediction that was hinted at by Lon?
I have no idea.
On charting.
I have no
I don't
idea.
know.
You literally don't know what it is?
This is the first I'm hearing of
Oh, I
this.
didn't know. I thought that was a known thing. Take it out. That's my fault.
No, I mean, we talk a lot about Star Wars in the room. I don't really have one.
I'll find the clip. We'll come back to
I
it.
need your amazing Star Wars prediction.
I could predict something right now.
Make a Star Wars.
Yeah, make a Star Wars prediction.
I'll drop a beat for you.
Wait.
I don't know. I just thought you would rap it. You know, like.
I've got a Star Wars prediction that you won't believe. What if I told you the Emperor's real name isn't Sheev?
There you go. Killed it.
Wow.
Because his name's
guys.
Sheev, right?
Sheev.
But did you call him cheese?
I thought I said Sheev.
You said she. I think it was somewhere in between cheese
We'll check the
and
tape.
cheese.
Sure, I heard cheese. Emil's R in the fan questions. And Jacob, sorry, we'll get back to you if Ryan never finds that. Emil's R says, what do you think is better for a movie? To find moderate success at the box office, but ultimately be forgotten, or bomb at the box office, but live on as a cult classic? I love this question because I definitely think you could argue either way. Emma, what's your gut say on
My
this
gut
one?
says option 2, bomb at the box office and become a cult classic.
Why do you think so?
Well, because here's the thing is with anything that is a cult hit, like and in some cases it's that the movie did terribly at the box office but is actually a good film. In some cases it's that it did terribly at the box office and it's kind of a terrible film too. But you want to be, in my opinion, to be remembered, you want to kind of be either extreme. You want to either have been like this raging success that everybody's going to remember and you immediately make your mark on history, or down the road, for whatever reason, you develop some kind of fan base. And also, if you're a cult classic, like, man, if you were involved in that, you can make money going to conventions for the rest of your life.
That's true.
True. Spenny, what do you think?
I agree with everything Emma said, but just for movie fight's sake, I'll take the opposite position.
Hell yeah, I love that out of you.
I think like it depends. Are we if we're talking about the movie itself? I'd rather see something that swung and missed, like a dramatic failure that's still interesting to revisit. But if I'm making the movie,
Right. You
this
are
is
the
my
filmmaker.
movie. I would like to work again.
Yeah.
I would like to get a
That's
job.
fair.
I would like to get the next movie that maybe it'll be an even more resounding success that will be remembered.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have a giant bomb that could end my career. So I'll take the moderate hit and live to work another day.
I feel like I can name so many things that bombed at the box office but lived on to have cult classics. Can we name many things that were really successful in the box office but then just
That
were
you didn't-
forgotten?
Yeah, fairly
Yeah,
successful. but
every
forgotten.
blockbuster
Yeah.
for the last 5 years. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even name them. They're so forgettable.
I mean, outside of something that was part of like a bigger cinematic universe outside of an MCU or a Star Wars or a DC.
yeah.
There's just not that many memorable
Yeah.
things.
I mean, can you name all the Transformers movies? I can't.
No, and those are huge successes for the most part.
And that is
Like,
certainly not the franchise I would want to sit down and watch marathon
Yes.
every single.
Ooh.
That would be
If we
brutal.
could just start again and only Bumblebee exists, I'm in.
All right.
But
and the original movie.
and yeah, the OG animated film.
Spenny, going to your point about working again, though, I do feel like the people with the cult classics are the ones that ultimately end up working.
Oh, they have the
again.
last laugh, but
Oh,
it's
they
after
do.
like it's after like
But there's-
decades, and like the next generation discovers it.
You were
Yeah.
like, I want to immediately laugh.
Yeah.
Shop House. Just let that stay right
You think it's
there.
gonna come back 10 years later?
I'm like
Shop
positive. If I ever get successful enough to do one thing, that will
You're
be
gonna
the
buy
thing.
the rights to Shop House back from Panda Express?
Yes.
I would do the
Laugh
same,
at
but
me
with-
not, Emma Fyffe. Yes,
My
I
one
will.
note would be just don't screw it up this time. Like, how about it? Like,
It was perfect.
it was not perfect.
Perfect. Guys, there was,
Well, the
there was
results speak
brown
for
rice
themselves.
options, noodle options.
Cold noodle
I
options.
mean, to me, the way you're describing it, I'm like, oh, it does sound like Chipotle, but
It was
Chinese
Chipotle.
food.
yes,
Yeah, but it
great
was-
concept.
Yeah. But
it
great
was-
concept.
Poor execution.
Poor execution.
That's what Spencer would like to see redone.
Yes, Shop House. Let's remake Shop House. New name.
We have to get out of here because I'm over you today. I'm over you. Usually we're on the same team, Spenny. Because you're in the Dan Merle seat, you have to disagree with everything I say. Fine. I'm sure the audience agrees with you then, Dan. Emma, in the meantime, before you're back here for next Friday, because you'll be here every Friday for October, where can the people keep up with you?
All over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe, EMMAFYFFE, and you can go to my website that I launched recently, emmafyffe.com, that has all my stuff on it.
It looks bomb, girl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did it myself.
It's a big feat. Launching a website is challenging. I might need to pick your brain on some things.
You got it.
Spenny, where can everybody keep up with you?
Go to SpencerJGilbert.com. It's got a picture of a horse on it.
Is that true?
It's under construction. Yes.
Oh, that's what that means.
And watch Power Levels on the other channel, Screen Junkies.
This is Power Levels. And I'm Roxy Striar. Yeah, not Emma Fyffe.
The actual voice of Power Levels.
Also, one more time, if you're in New York Comic-Con, Saturday night, that is tomorrow, 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. in room 1A10. That's where you guys can see the Galaxy Quest documentary, which has been deemed by Spenny as the most important film of all time. So that's a pretty big one. I'm everywhere at Roxy Striar. Thank you to Ryan. Thank you to JT. We'll see you guys next time.